we had Ed Bouchette on in hour number 1 of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and I'm sure you've been reading him for forever and a day.
Oh, yeah.
And he said he puts Tomlin up there with both Knoll and Cowher.
Yeah,
without a question.
Look, I mean,
but you hear so much stuff in this town about Tomlin this, Tomlin that, and every single time I hear from any Steeler fan on this show, on my Twitter feed, if you somehow the Rooneys will never do it because they know what they have. But if they ever decide to move on from Tomlin, he would be somebody else's coach literally by the end of the day.
Immediately, but I don't think anybody's talking about that. I mean, you look at the first 10 years of a coaching tenure. Look at his record. Look at his stats. You'd be hard pressed to find. I think there's only 2 other coaches that are even in the history of the NFL that are in that category. And as far as your record in through their first 10 years, so I don't think anybody's talking about that now. I also think he's a really good coach who's had to deal with a lot of stuff. And I think he's dealt with it really well.
We have no idea, although you might, since you're giving interior decorating text, advice to Ryan Shazier. But I think we have no idea of if there is a Steeler iceberg filled with everything from Big Ben's injuries to Big Ben's desire to play football, to Antonio Brown's Facebook living, to whatever that means he's also doing, to Martavis Bryant, to what happened with Al Villanueva this year. And if that's the iceberg, that's the tip of what we know of what's going on with this team and Mike Tomlin.
I think that's the whole iceberg, what you just said there.
Is that really the whole iceberg?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Now, is this knowing what the iceberg is? Do you know the iceberg? We're not talking about Iceland.
You're asking if I'm throwing up a smokescreen now for the organization?
Yes,
no, I think what you're talking about is exactly what I'm talking about when I refer to what Tomlin has put up with. But I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I think the team, we do have a great group of young players. I think the defense is populated with a bunch of guys who are all about being the best. Mm-hmm. They worked really, really, really hard this year, and I think it shows. So, no, I think you've got a team that's really working hard. I think you've got an offense that's finding its sea legs that I think we're waiting for it to really click.
But why do you think that the sea legs have not been found yet? It's not really much of a different. It's not a different scheme, not a different coordinator, a different quarterback, not a different prime receiver, not a different prime running back, not a different offensive line.
No, but I think if you look at all those pieces, how much prior to this season had all those pieces played together on one field at one time?
So the holdout? You're talking about the Le'Veon holdout?
I'm talking about missing players last year for entire seasons. I mean, there's chemistry.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.